I've had two haircuts since Jessica and I began spending a lot of our time in Southeast Asia. And I would refer to them as unmitigated coiffure disasters. Both of the stylists, and I use that term broadly, must have been big fans of Jackie Chan, because when I got up out of the chair, I looked like Jackie Chan, but only after he had spent an entire night's sleep standing on his head. It was bad. So I'm anxious for next week when Jessica and I get on a big airplane and spend 24 hours traveling back to Puglia, where my friend Michele will give me a proper haircut. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not the only reason we're looking forward to going back to Puglia. In fact, we're very excited to be back there. It was our permanent home for 3 years. We moved there from the United States to a little olive farm and just rejoiced in the idea of being there. Before we moved from the United States, people would constantly ask, why Puglia? Of all the places in the world, why did you decide to move to Puglia? And I had so many reasons why Puglia was a wonderful place for us to go that my answers were tended to be pretty long and probably pretty boring, because I noticed that the people I was speaking with were looking for the nearest bridge to jump off of. But I'll keep this one short and sweet. So why Puglia? First of all, the climate. Puglia is the heel of the boot that is the Italian peninsula, and this little isthmus of land is flanked on the east side by the Adriatic Sea, on the west side by the Ionian Sea, and south is the Mediterranean. So the climate is very moderate, even in winters when it can be cold and damp for periods of time, and even every once in a while there's a snowfall. Still nothing like the northeast US winters that we have been used to. Secondly, the cuisine. I contend that there is no better food anywhere in Italy, and Italy is of course renowned for its food, than in Puglia. And there's one simple reason for that. It's fresh. Puglia is the breadbasket of Italy. It's where most of the produce is grown in Italy, and 60% of the olive oil comes from Puglia, and a great deal of the wine comes from Puglia. So it is a huge production area for food. Farm to table isn't even an expression in Puglia, because there is no such thing as not farm to table. Everything that's grown there is served there, is sold there, and in fact, if it's not in season, you can't find it. As far as seafood is concerned, the fact that it is virtually an island in the sea means that the seafood is fresh, and it's got that piquant taste that comes directly from the sea. You know, there's a city on the Ionian coast of Puglia called Taranto. Taranto's nickname is Cozza City. Cozza is Italian for mussels. There's a lot of, you'll find octopus on every menu, and it's absolutely wonderful and delectable, and Pugliese eat a lot of octopus. But it's a magnificent place to eat, and whether you like seafood or meat or just vegetables and fruits, no better place in the world. I mentioned the wines of Puglia, and we tend to prefer the red wines, the Negro Amaro, the Primitivo, big bold reds, Salice Salentino. But they make some wonderful white wines there too. In fact, near our town of Locorotondo, they make a wine that actually has the DOCG, a government-approved label that restricts how the wine can be made, and it's gaining attention worldwide. The sites in Puglia, I would put them up against any sites anywhere in Italy. You know, you've got the beautiful seaside towns of Polignano al Mare and Monopoli and Trani and Otranto and Gallipoli. These are quaint old port cities that date back to Grecian times, and they all have their own character and their own nature, and it's so wonderful to get to know them. But you also have the hilltop towns inland from the sea, particularly surrounding the Valle d'Itria, which is the area that we lived in. Towns like Ostuni, the White City, Martina Franca, Ceglia Messapica, and the town that we've fallen in love with, Cisternino. There's a little town not far from there called Alberobello. Alberobello is a UNESCO site because of the trulli. A trullo is a little round stone building with a conical roof, and one part of Alberobello is nothing but trulli, more trulli than you can see anywhere else in the world. It's sort of like a hobbiton above ground. It's a beautiful place. You know, the fondest memories of probably anything I've ever done involve waking up in Villa Tutto just before the sun has finished rising, walking out onto the veranda in the brightening sunlight, sitting down with Jessica having cappuccino and eating little almond-flavored biscotti, having our 3 cats give us all the love they saved up overnight, and the 7 strays who called Villa Tutto theirs even though it wasn't, and just relishing life in Puglia, life at Villa Tutto. And if you'd like to know more about Puglia, check out my book, Soul of the Heel, on Amazon.com. Now, if you ever do get the chance to go to Puglia, don't pass it up. Take advantage of everything Puglia has to offer. And if you do go, let me know. I'll set you up with Michele at the saloon in Loco Rotondo so you can have your haircut too. And let us know also, if we're around, we'd love to meet you. But if we don't see you there, see you around the world.